Welcome to the Prophets of IT, where operators, builders, and founders who refuse to confuse motion with progress come to share what they've learned. I'm Jim Punzenberger, your host, and I built this podcast because the IT industry has a dangerous addiction to more tools, more funding, more complexity, when what most companies need is better structure and sharper execution. Speaking of execution, if your IT company's growth strategy is a spreadsheet full of ideas and a calendar full of excuses, you don't need a consultant. You need a system. ManagedProspectingSystem.com is a system I built after running and selling my own MSP. 3 pillars: authority content that establishes your expertise, LinkedIn outreach that puts you in front of the right people, and email campaigns that drive conversations because they're built on relevance. Done for you every week, structured and not chaos. ManagedProspectingSystem.com. Execute or get left behind. Well, today's guest is a founder who thinks differently than anyone I've had on this show. He's the founder and CEO of Sliq Group, backed by $2.5 million, helping businesses build product-led digital systems across AI, apps, and e-commerce. He's built and scaled a tech team of 80-plus people earlier in his career. He challenges the idea that more funding equals a better company. He's done intense survival training and yoga practices. And not to mention, he's here today to share with us. Welcome to Prophets of IT, Deepak. Feel free to say hi to the audience.
Hey all, hi Jim. Thanks for having me, man. It's wonderful to be here. And while you mentioned that I challenge more funding, more company, I also challenge less funding is better. So I think I challenge both the opinion because it completely depends on the founder, the market, and the network that they have.
Well, let's jump right into it, Deepak, and talk about what I like to call a truth bomb. And I think what you mentioned when you talked earlier, yours is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. The industry truth that you challenge most is that more funds equal a better company. And you also just mentioned that. You also mentioned, I think you see two sides to the coin when it comes to funding. But you want to talk more about how you challenge the status quo when it comes to funding?
Yeah, so I think some people believe that when you have more money, you can scale the company faster. I wouldn't say that's wrong, but when you try to scale something with money, what essentially you are scaling is your processes, is your business model, is your the market in which you are trying to scale that and reach out to more people. So I believe whatever you have built is what you are scaling, and if you have not fixed your internal processes, you know then you might be scaling the chaos that you are still not have structured in your company, right? So even
Mhm.
with more money, you are just
Making more
amplifying more
chaos
chaos
then.
in the market. Yeah. And sometimes if you have found the product market fit, then money actually helps to reach out to more people and and scale your business. So I mean, it's just two way of looking at it. It's completely up to a specific founder where he is, and he should be aware of his status quo, and accordingly he should pursue one of these two ways.
That makes sense. So let's shift gears here a moment and talk about what I like to call superpowers. You mentioned yours is one of the most um, well, a very specific answer I've had. And you said your core strength is turning ambiguity into structure and execution, and that you take unclear problems, define them, and put them in focus and assign ownership. Walk me through what that looks like when you're in the middle of startup chaos.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the most interesting thing to do in life. I believe, doing a startup is a process in which it reveals you about yourself and what kind of a person you are, what kind of a personality you are, what kind of problems that you can take on, and help people around you. So I think in a startup ecosystem, when there is a product team, there is an engineering team, there is a design team, there is legal, accounting, finance, everything, right? So when you are in the middle of all these teams and people are not looking for just answers, because the answer of a question is completely there on the Google and online platforms, but what they are looking for is the clarity, like in which areas they have to put their energies on, and what is the best for the business. In fact, they also know, but not at to an extent at which so I think it's the ability to take on as many as uncertain opinions and put them into a structure and give them a direction to put their energies on, is what actually drives a company forward. And I think I have learned it in a very hard way. So yeah, I think I have also intentionally tried to focus on that and help me improve on that area. And patience is something which is most important if you want to actually be good with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what I like to call $1 million learning moment, or a moment in your career when you hit uh, when you learned something big. And you told me your biggest mistake was scaling execution without first fixing the structure. You you took more work, added people, increased velocity, but without clear ownership, defined processes, or alignment. What happened?
So I think it was in my previous stint where we were scaling super fast, and scale has its own issues if you haven't fixed the structure, because after some point of time you feel like you are lost and everything is on your plate 24 into 7, right? And so I think setting up clear ownership and a clear structure is very very important. For example, when a client complains about certain thing which is not being done right, then what would you do? Will you just become flustered or hyper, or will you put that into a process of first talking to the PM or the account manager, and then let the account manager dig deeper into the problem and then come back with an answer, and that you can just communicate it to the client, adding your perspective as well. So whether do you directly fight with the problem statement all the time, or whether do you deal it in a structured way, is is really what makes a lot of difference. Because I think a peace of mind of a founder is very important, so that he can constantly think on scaling the business rather than firefighting all the time, right? So I think it's one of I keep it always with me that whenever I'm scaling, I'll firstly fix the basics of the company, which is the structure, legal, accounts, and then you scale the company.
Mhm. So let's talk about what's exciting in your world. Um, Sounds like you have some, you guys are helping businesses move from projects to product-led digital systems. What specifically has you excited about that?
I think it always excites me when there are more and more users on the platform. Let's say we are working with a client, and Sometimes, client just comes with that, hey, I want to, improve the digital transformation and, fix a lot of processes within my company. But and also when they have a website which has, let's say, around 50,000 users, or millions of users. So it's really important to understand what user wants, what their customer wants, and make identifying the bottleneck in their ecosystem, and then solve that with tech, is what actual digital transformation means. It's not about making techify everything. It's more about identifying the bottleneck and fixing that with the tech, and keep reiterating is what actually leads the company towards its goal. So yeah,
So if
I think this
well,
entire journey becomes very meaningful when you know that there are a lot of users to the tech that you are helping with. Like with one of our clients is having weekly active users around 2 million, and we are helping them with the website, and it's just amazing to see with every successful uh, session, with every successful transaction. It's very fulfilling to see that they are able to achieve what they want. And it's very interesting to also learn those insights when you analyze the tools that you have put, the tracking tools, and when you see what a user want and what it doesn't want, and what you have to actually add and remove from the platform. It's so fulfilling in its own way that you are trying to understand user behavior of so many people,
mhm.
and that's actually is what helping your clients. So I think it's entire learning about people is what actually makes the journey very fulfilling.
So if somebody's listening would like to connect with you and learn more, where should they go? What are their next steps?
I think I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, but I think they can go inwards to find most of their answers. But yeah, I'm always active on LinkedIn to have a very raw conversation if somebody wants to.
So we'll include a link in the show notes to your LinkedIn profile. So somebody's interested, check out the show notes for the a link to Deepak's LinkedIn profile. Well, Deepak, thank you for coming on today and so openly sharing.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much for having me, man. And you are doing a great job.
Well, thank you for the kind words. And if you're an IT owner uh, struggling with growth and looking for to change to go from an unpredictable pipeline to a structured, predictable pipeline, now would be a good time to check out managedprospectingsystem.com. And until next time, I'm Jim Punzenberger. Stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.